Stop scrolling. Stop waiting for motivation to magically strike you. What I'm about to tell you, most people will never hear, most people will never act on it. And yet, it's the one truth that separates the people who dominate their lives from the people who watch their dreams die quietly while they scroll, complain, and make excuses. Right now, you have a choice. Keep living the way you have been, letting life decide your path, or lean in, listen, and learn the habits, the mindset, and the relentless strategies that make someone truly unstoppable. By the end of this video, you're going to realize something shocking, something no one else has dared to tell you. You're going to see why most people fail, why they never reach their potential, and why the small, invisible choices you make every day are actually defining your entire future. I'm going to break down 7 habits, 7 ways that will give you momentum, power, and clarity that you've never experienced before. You might feel uncomfortable. You might feel challenged. You might even feel a little afraid because the truth is uncomfortable. But that's exactly why you need to watch until the end. Because every second you resist, every second you ignore this, is a second you're falling behind. If you're ready to stop living a life that feels average, if you're ready to stop giving your power to fear, doubt, and laziness, and if you want to learn how to build unstoppable momentum that forces the world to notice you, then stay with me. Watch carefully. Listen closely. Because after this, your life will never look the same again, and I promise you, if you act on what you hear today, nothing, and I mean nothing, will be able to stop you. Let's start with a truth that most people are too afraid to face. Success is not about luck. It's not about waiting for the perfect opportunity, the perfect timing, or someone else's permission. Success, true success, the kind that turns your life into something unstoppable, comes from one thing and one thing only: your daily habits. I'm not talking about doing something once in a while or making a New Year's resolution that dies in a week. I'm talking about what you do every single day without fail, because the truth is, your life is built not in moments of inspiration, but in the quiet, repetitive actions that nobody sees. Think about it. Every morning when you wake up, you have a choice. You can hit snooze, scroll your phone, let another day slip by, or you can decide right there, right now, to own the day. That moment, right after your eyes open, is more powerful than most people realize. If you take control of that morning, you're setting a tone for everything else. When you start your day with intention, with purpose, you're creating momentum. And momentum, once it starts rolling, is unstoppable. One small win in the morning leads to another. You write one page, make one call, take one step, and suddenly, you're not just moving, you're charging. And this is where most people fail. They underestimate the power of small actions repeated consistently. They look at someone successful and think it happened overnight. They see a millionaire, a top athlete, a leader, and they assume they were born lucky. But if you look closer, you'll see the habits, the daily grind, the small choices made when no one was watching. The person who wakes up early, who reads, who plans, who trains, who pushes, who shows up every single day. That is the difference between ordinary and unstoppable. Let me give you a simple example. Imagine you commit to learning something new every day, just 30 minutes. It doesn't sound like much, right? But 30 minutes every day is 3.5 hours a week. That's over 180 hours a year. In 1 year, you could become an expert in a skill most people ignore, just because you were consistent. That's the power of daily habits. And here's the key: it compounds. Just like money in the bank grows exponentially with interest, your habits grow your life exponentially. One action leads to another, one win builds confidence, and before you know it, you're on a path that no one else can derail. Now, here's something most people don't understand. Momentum doesn't only make things easier, it transforms your identity. When you start showing up for yourself daily, you don't just build results, you become the kind of person who takes action naturally. You stop being reactive and start being proactive. You stop waiting for permission and you start creating your own opportunities. This is not magic, this is psychology. Your brain begins to wire itself around your habits. The more you do the right things, the easier it becomes to keep doing them. And the more you do, the more unstoppable you feel, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And let's be honest, life will test you. Life will try to throw excuses in your path. You will feel tired, distracted, overwhelmed, and even discouraged. But here's the secret. Habits are your safety net. When everything else fails, when motivation disappears, your habits carry you forward. You do not rely on how you feel. You rely on what you've trained yourself to do. This is why champions, leaders, and extraordinary people outlast the rest. They don't wait for inspiration. They've built systems, routines, and habits that make success inevitable. Another aspect that often goes unnoticed is how habits create leverage. One good habit doesn't just improve one area of life, it spills into every other area. Reading daily improves your mind, your communication, your decision-making. Exercising daily improves your energy, confidence, and focus. Planning daily improves your productivity and reduces stress. These habits are interconnected. They multiply, they amplify, and they build momentum in ways that are almost unstoppable. The more you commit, the more doors open without you even realizing it. Here's something shocking most people never hear. It's not the big, flashy actions that make the difference. It's the small, unseen, consistent ones. It's making your bed every morning, journaling your goals, taking that cold shower, meditating for 5 minutes, prioritizing your top task before anything else. Tiny actions, tiny disciplines, repeated daily. That's what separates the people who dream from the people who dominate. And when you stack these actions together over weeks, months, and years, you are no longer playing the game, you are defining it. But habits are not just about productivity, they are about freedom. The more disciplined you become, the more control you have over your life. When you master your daily routines, you are no longer at the mercy of circumstances, people, or fleeting emotions. You are in charge. You move forward even when no one is cheering you on. You rise while others sleep. You grow while others complain. That is what unstoppable looks like. It is a mindset, a rhythm, and a way of life built one day at a time. And here's the most important point I want you to hear. Building momentum is not optional. If you are alive, you are moving, either toward your dreams or away from them. Every habit, every choice, every day matters. You cannot afford to wait for the perfect time or perfect conditions. They don't exist. What exists is the decision to start now, to build small victories daily, to trust that the compound effect of your actions will carry you further than you can imagine. Your future self is begging you to take this seriously. So start today. Start with one habit, one action, one choice that aligns with your goal. Then add another tomorrow, then another. Stack them, repeat them, protect them, and watch as the momentum you create becomes unstoppable. You are no longer just reacting to life. You are building it, shaping it, dominating it. And one day when people look at what you've achieved, they won't see luck. They will see the power of daily habits, repeated without fail, until nothing can stop you. Remember this, you do not become unstoppable by chance. You become unstoppable by choice, by action, and by relentless consistency. Your habits are your weapon. Your momentum is your force. And once you master both, nothing in this world can stand in your way. Let me tell you something that most people never admit to themselves. The biggest battle you will ever face is not outside of you, it's inside of you. Life isn't hard because the world is against you. Life is hard because most people let their own minds control them. Fear, doubt, worry, distraction, laziness, these aren't just feelings. They are tiny dictators, quietly taking over your decisions, your habits, your future. And here's the harsh truth. If you do not master yourself, life will master you. You will be at the mercy of circumstance, and your potential will rot inside you while you wait for permission, for luck, for someone else to save you. Most people spend their lives running from discomfort, running from responsibility, running from the truth of who they are and who they could be. They blame the economy, their environment, other people, but rarely, if ever, look inward. And yet, every success you've ever admired, every athlete, every entrepreneur, every leader, every person who seems to move through the world with unstoppable confidence, they have done one thing: they mastered themselves. They decided that no thought, no fear, no emotion, no outside force would control the direction of their life. Mastering yourself starts with awareness. You must see your thoughts, your impulses, and your habits clearly, without judgment, without excuses. Most people don't even notice how much of their day is stolen by wandering attention and unconscious decisions. The moment you become aware of how your mind works, you gain the first taste of freedom. You can begin to choose. You can begin to decide which thoughts deserve your energy and which ones deserve to be discarded like trash. This is where self-mastery begins, by realizing that you're me. ND is a tool, not a tyrant. But awareness is not enough. Awareness must be paired with discipline. Every time you allow fear to dictate your choices, every time you give in to procrastination, every time you let comfort control your actions, you reinforce weakness. Your brain, like a muscle, strengthens in the patterns you feed it. So if you allow doubt, laziness, or negativity to rule, that becomes your default. But if you feed courage, focus, and relentless action, that becomes your default. Mastery is not about being fearless. It's about choosing courage over fear every single time, even when your mind screams to quit. And here's something most people never grasp: your emotions are not your enemy, but neither are they your guide. Happiness, excitement, and motivation feel good, but they are fleeting. Anger, fear, and frustration feel uncomfortable, but they are not weaknesses. Mastery is about understanding that your emotions are information, not instruction. You do not wait to feel ready. You act first, and your mind, your body, your reality will follow. This is why the most unstoppable people seem to move with confidence in chaos. They have trained themselves to respond, not react. They have trained themselves to act even when every cell in their body wants to stay put. Another key element of self-mastery is understanding the power of focus. Your mind is constantly assaulted by distractions. Social media, notifications, news, gossip, endless comparisons. They all steal your attention, and attention is the currency of achievement. Where your focus goes, energy flows, results follow. Mastering yourself means protecting your attention like a lion protects its territory. It means saying no to the noise of the world and saying yes to the work that matters. Most people never achieve their potential because they scatter their energy across things that don't matter. The moment you truly focus on what is most important, you begin to bend reality in your favor. And let's talk about habits, because habits are the architecture of your self-mastery. Your mind, body, and spirit are shaped by what you do repeatedly. Small actions done consistently over time define who you become. When you master your daily routines, when you refuse to be controlled by fleeting moods, you are building a fortress around your potential. Exercise, meditation, planning, learning, reflection, these are not optional. They are the scaffolding that allows your self-mastery to grow strong and unbreakable. Without them, even the sharpest mind or the strongest talent will crumble under pressure. Self-mastery also demands courage, the courage to face uncomfortable truths about yourself, to admit where you are weak, where you have failed, where you have sabotaged your own growth. Most people avoid this because honesty with yourself is brutal. But the moment you accept responsibility for your life, the moment you stop blaming the world or others for your circumstances, you become powerful beyond measure. Responsibility is freedom. Ownership of your life is the ultimate act of self-mastery. And here's the final truth I want to hit you with. Mastering yourself is not a destination, it's a lifelong journey. You will never arrive perfectly, and that's fine. The moment you stop striving to grow, the moment you settle for mediocrity, is the moment life starts to master you again. But if you commit to daily growth, if you commit to discipline, to focus, to courage, to action, you become unstoppable, not because life is easy, but because you are unbreakable. The storms, the obstacles, the setbacks, they don't control you, you control yourself. You are the captain of your mind, the pilot of your body, the architect of your destiny. So here's what I want you to do right now. Start looking at yourself with brutal honesty. Watch your thoughts. Observe your emotions. Track your habits. Ask yourself, am I choosing the person I want to become, or am I letting life choose for me? And if the answer is life is choosing for me, then it's time to fight. It's time to reclaim your power. It's time to master yourself. One thought at a time, one habit at a time, one decision at a time. Because here's the simple, shocking truth. You cannot outrun yourself. You cannot escape the person you are unless you change the person you are. Master yourself, and the world has no choice but to follow. Fail to master yourself, and the world will dictate every step you take. The choice is yours. The fight is yours, and the rewards are limitless. If there's one truth that separates the ordinary from the extraordinary, it is this: consistency and relentlessness define who you become and what you leave behind. Talent alone is meaningless without repetition. Opportunity alone is meaningless without persistence. Dreams alone are meaningless without action. The people we admire, the legends we celebrate, the names that echo through time, they are not extraordinary because they had perfect luck or endless inspiration. They are extraordinary because they refused to stop. They acted again and again, long after the initial excitement faded, long after the applause disappeared, long after everyone else gave up. Think about it for a moment. Most people approach life like a short sprint. They start with enthusiasm, full of hope and energy, but the first obstacle, the first delay, the first discomfort, and they quit. They tell themselves, I'll try again tomorrow, or maybe I'm just not meant for this. And tomorrow turns into next week, next month, next year. Habits fade, motivation dies, and dreams crumble. Consistency, relentless daily action, is the antidote to this. It's the force that bridges the gap between who you are today and who you are capable of becoming. Consistency is more than routine. It's a statement of character. Every time you show up when it's hard, every time you push forward when no one is watching, every time you honor your word to yourself, you reinforce your identity. You are telling your brain, your body, and the universe, I do not quit. I follow through. I am unstoppable. And the more you repeat this, the more it becomes part of your DNA. You stop being someone who hopes for success. You become someone who creates it daily, relentlessly. Now, relentlessness takes consistency to another level. It's not enough to just show up occasionally or do the bare minimum. Relentlessness means continuing when everything in you screams to stop. It means grinding when others rest, learning when others distract themselves, and acting when others make excuses. Relentlessness is built from the understanding that life will not give you a free pass, that the world does not owe you fairness, and that greatness is earned in the trenches of daily effort. The relentless person does not wait for inspiration. They generate it through action. And here's the subtle truth that shocks most people: consistency compounds. Every effort you make, every action you take, every habit you maintain, even when it feels insignificant, multiplies over time. Reading 20 pages a day doesn't just make you smarter today. It transforms your mind over months and years. Exercising for 30 minutes each day doesn't just improve your strength today. It builds resilience, confidence, and discipline for decades. Sending a single email, making a single call, taking a single step every day, these are not small actions. They are building blocks of a life that becomes unstoppable because momentum grows quietly, invisibly, until one day it explodes. Most people misunderstand patience in this context. They think consistency means slowly trudging along without excitement. They think relentlessness means cold, robotic repetition. No, it's not about boredom or monotony. It's about strategic, persistent action combined with vision and intensity. It's about showing up with energy, focus, and intention every single day, knowing that every small effort feeds the larger goal. Consistency and relentlessness are the twin engines that drive your life forward. One without the other is incomplete. Together, they are unstoppable. Let's talk about failure, because most people fear it. But here's the reality: failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of the process. And consistency transforms failure from a dead end into a stepping stone. When you are relentless, every mistake, every setback, every rejection becomes information. It becomes feedback that allows you to adjust, improve, and keep moving forward. Those who quit at the first failure never experience this, and they never see what's possible when you simply refuse to stop. The relentless person doesn't fear falling. They fear never trying, never learning, never growing. Consistency and relentlessness also define your legacy because they shape how the world experiences you. It's easy to show up once, to impress momentarily, to capture fleeting attention. But to make an impact that lasts, to inspire, to lead, to change lives, you must be reliable, you must be unwavering, you must be unstoppable. People remember the ones who endure, who persist, who continue when everything else fades. Legacy is not created by sporadic brilliance. It is forged in the fire of sustained action, the grind of daily excellence, and the courage to keep going when no one else does. And here's the most important insight. Consistency and relentlessness are not just about external results. They transform you internally. When you commit to this way of life, you build confidence, resilience, and self-trust. You begin to understand that obstacles are not threats. They are challenges designed to test your persistence. You begin to trust yourself because you have proven day after day that you can deliver, that you can endure, that you can achieve. There is no greater power than the knowledge that you are unshakable from within. Most people never reach this level because they underestimate the small, everyday actions. They look for shortcuts, hacks, or dramatic breakthroughs. They ignore the power of showing up consistently, repeatedly, relentlessly. And that's the secret no one wants to admit. There are no shortcuts. There is no secret. The only way to create unstoppable momentum, to build a legacy, to become extraordinary, is to do the work every day without compromise, without excuse, without end. And yes, it's hard. Yes, it will test you. Yes, life will try to break you. But here's the beauty of it. When you embrace consistency and relentlessness, obstacles no longer scare you. Setbacks no longer stop you. Criticism no longer deters you. You become like a force of nature, moving with purpose, discipline, and unwavering energy. People who once doubted you are left in awe. People who gave up are left behind. And one day, when you look back, you realize your life is not built on luck. It's built on daily, relentless action that never faltered, even when it was hard. So here's what I want you to remember. Your future is not determined by inspiration, by luck, or by fleeting effort. It is determined by what you do consistently, every day, without fail, and by the relentless intensity with which you pursue it. If you want a life that matters, a life that stands out, a life that leaves a legacy, you cannot skip this. You cannot half-step. You must commit to showing up, to pushing forward, to refusing to quit day after day, week after week, year after year. And here's the final, unshakable truth. Consistency and relentlessness do not just create results. They create the person you were meant to become. They transform you from someone who hopes to someone who dominates, from someone who dreams to someone who builds, from someone who watches life happen to someone who shapes it, unshakably and permanently.